Michael Penix being named the starting quarterback for the Falcons. I said it in the open, dude. Like, I don't understand how Kirk Cousins is laying 10 and now Michael Penix is laying 8.5. I don't care that Drew Lock's starting there's no difference between any of these. They're all atrocious. The team's bad. I think they're now trying to lose, to lock up a top 2 pick to get either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward at the top of the draft. I can't believe this point spread's under 10. It could be Penix. Honestly, I would probably bet Atlanta if it were Cousins even. It could be anybody. Desmond Ridder could start for Atlanta. Michael Vick could come back and leave Norfolk State and come start for Atlanta. Chris Miller, Steve Bartkowski. Insert Falcons quarterback here, and I would pick the Falcons against the Giants. Oh, dude, Chris Chandler started a Super Bowl.
He could cook.
Dude, get Matt Ryan off the NFL Today set. Have him start the game. I mean, it's not even the Giants, dude. The worst team in the league. Am I missing something here on Atlanta laying the points?
I think we lay alts. Like, that's my strategy with this game. I think this is high variance. Like, Penix is a rookie, and it seems like sticker shock to see a rookie laying 8.5. And that's what the betting market's doing. It's like, oh my God, it's a rookie quarterback. Must fade them in their first start. It's like, yeah, but that's in like week 1. When an NFL team is actually trying. The Giants are not an NFL team right now. Not as currently constructed. All their good players are hurt outside of Malik Neighbors, who's like banged up every single game. Like, I don't see how you're betting the New York Giants. I'm looking to lay like 10.5. Maybe some 13.5. I think we play this to like the extreme positive for the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to try to come out guns blazing. I had Randy McMichael on during the Femi and Friends hour from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, and he thinks that the offense is going to be a lot more wide open because Penix has a great live arm. Kirk Cousins can no longer push the ball down the field.
Yeah. And he's right. He's right, obviously.
Right.
Dude, we watched the game on Monday. They literally couldn't run an offense on Monday because Cousins is so shot.
It's lollipops. That's what Kirk Cousins is throwing, these balloon balls. That he can't push off that leg because he's
What would
already
Lil Wayne say about it?
Lollipop. Shawty want it. No, we're not going to sing it.
Interceptions in the club.
But like we get the point. This offense is going to be a whole lot more live. They do have a lot of good skill position players as well. I think this is Falcons big on Sunday against the New York Giants. I think the betting market is kind of going to what feels normal and what's typically right in these situations. But this is not your typical situation given the fact that they're facing a team that's barely an NFL roster.
All right. How does it lose? 2-team teaser of the week. First of all, I do like Denver coming up tomorrow on Thursday night, plus 8.5, up from 2.5. But how does this lose? Bengals minus 1.5, Falcons minus 2.5. Cincinnati's facing DTR. We'll talk about that game coming up. It moved to start next hour.
The only way it loses is Penix is terrible, which I don't think is the case. He has to be better than Cousins. He has to be.
He can't. It's not possible for him to be worse. Yeah. I guess it is. Like, he could be like Nathan Peterman, wasn't that one start. Like, he could be that bad, but it's unlikely that's going to be the case, right? Yeah. Against the Giants?
Yeah. I guess we have to keep an open mind because he is a rookie. We've never seen him play an NFL regular season game, but I think he'll at least be better than Kirk Cousins, which means down to 2.5. I like that teaser quite a bit.
So Falcons, Bengals, we're in on this.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my question as the Michael Penix situation goes. We've been saying this for weeks. What the hell took the Falcons this long to make this move? How did they not make this move after the Chargers debacle? Where forget about Michael Penix. If I had started that game for Atlanta, would the Falcons have won if I had started that game? Like, think about jabroni quarter. If Desmond Ridder had started that game, I mean this. I think the Falcons win that game if Desmond Ridder starts. Cousins was so bad in that game against the Chargers. The 4 horrendous interceptions. Chargers did nothing on offense in that game and won 17-13. This is like, this should have happened a while ago for the Atlanta Falcons. That is one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback play. And it's funny to think, right? I think it's possible in retrospect that the Saquon Barkley drop Week 2 on Monday Night Football, Eagles versus Falcons, and I laughed about it the next day as a Giants fan. The joke's on me, as it's turned out. Is that drop the worst thing that could have happened to the Falcons this season? Does everyone remember the conversation coming out of Week 1, Falcons and Steelers? Well, remember when the Falcons were 4-point favorites in that game? That's a laugh. Everyone's like, Cousins is done. It's over. And then Saquon drops that pass. Cousins leads the miracle comeback, and everyone's like, we're back on the Kirk Cousins train. If Atlanta had lost that game 0-2, then loses to the Chiefs on Sunday night in week 3, maybe we're not even talking about this. Maybe Michael Penix was the quarterback a while back and they would have had a chance to save the season. And now they at least give themselves an opportunity to save the season, an opportunity to, whereas you have zero chance of saving the season if Kirk Cousins starts the final 3 games. And I want to say this about Michael Penix. I think he's going to be really good. I'm a big Michael Penix fan. Obviously, he was awesome last year at Washington. We all watched him. Also, how are those 3 rookie receivers doing right now? Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, and Jalen McMillan. None of them have exactly set the world on fire. Maybe Michael Penix elevated all of them last year at Washington. Maybe that's what happened. And like Ryan Grubb isn't exactly setting the world on fire right now as Seahawks offensive coordinator. Maybe it was all Michael Penix. And prior to that, Penix was obviously awesome at the University of Indiana. Penix is accurate. Throws a great deep ball, has tremendous arm talent. He's not as mobile as I would like my young quarterback to be, but he's at least functional in the pocket. I think he's going to be really good. And for all the people that want to talk about, wow, look at this great situation Caleb Williams entered into, and I know when people said that, they're talking about the number 1 overall pick, but I mean, may not be apples to apples. Michael Penix's situation right now is 500 times better than Caleb Williams. Better offensive line. Drake London probably just as good as DJ Moore. Bijan Robinson. Decent ancillary pieces with Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, and Ray McLeod. Every time I hear Ray McLeod now, I laugh about thinking Femi's Island, talking about everybody knows a Ray, which was really great. And they have a play caller in Zach Robinson who at least has functioning brain cells and a head coach who doesn't have a nickname with lose in it. And I think Michael Penix is going to start off hot this Sunday. In Michael Penix's last college game, against Michigan, national championship game, he didn't play his best football. Michigan's defense was awesome. Penix missed like a huge throw on a 4th down early in the game, had a tight end wide open for a touchdown that could have made it a 3-point game in the second half. He did not play his best in that game. That's the bad news. The good news, there's a chance that Michigan's defense last year is better than what the Giants are going to put on the field on Sunday. Maybe a slight exaggeration, not that much of an exaggeration, and everyone knows my opinion. I think the Giants are the worst team in the league, bar none. And there's a lot of competition, worst team in the league. Raiders, Jaguars, Bears, Panthers, Browns, Titans. A lot of bad teams this year. For my money, the New York, and I'm a Giants fan, so take this maybe with a grain of salt if you want. I think you should take it more seriously because I'm dead right on my team when I talk about them. It's been proven. The Giants are the worst team in the league, and I'm not sure it's close. You can't draw it up. First start at home against the Giants? I mean, what a great situation. Now let's talk about the betting market. Atlanta, when we presumed Kirk Cousins was the quarterback, was a 10-point home favorite against the Giants. Now that Michael Penix is the starter and Drew Lock is starting for the Giants, Atlanta's an 8.5-point favorite. What? If we all agreed, and I want everyone to seriously, you're watching, listening to the show, think about this. We all think Kirk Cousins is shot, right? We all think that. Kirk Cousins is shot. Okay, if that's true, and we all think that, and maybe you don't think the Giants are the worst team in the league, but you acknowledge, right, that the Giants are one of the 3 worst teams in the league, the 2 worst teams in the league, if not number 1. If we all think that, how does it make sense that the Falcons the Giants would get bet off of this news from 10 down to 8.5? I think Tim Boyle last week looked better than Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. What a commentary on Drew Lock that Tim Boyle looked better. I mean, God, I love the Falcons on Sunday laying 8.5. Now, from there, Atlanta goes to Washington, Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock, in what is now a fascinating game against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, but they're going to be dogs in that game, obviously. Host Carolina in Week 18. Let's say they win that game. I think the Falcons are going 9-8. Now we go to Tampa, 8-6. Sunday Night Football, NBC and Peacock, 4-point road favorite at Dallas. We love the Bucs in the game. Fire the cannons. Then Tampa hosts Carolina, big favorite. Then Tampa hosts the New Orleans Saints, big favorite. Tampa's going 11-6. Good night, Atlanta. Too little, too late with the switch to Michael Penix Jr. Congratulations, Atlanta. You voted Bill Belichick off the island. And then the NFL responded by voting you off of theirs. Because you ain't making the playoffs this season. Waited too long to bench the horrible Kirk Cousins. But joining us right now to talk Michael Penix and the rest of what we'll see Week 16 in the National Football League, Odyssey Sports NFL insider, the great Brian Baldinger on Twitter at BaldyNFL. Michael Penix Jr. will be starting for the Falcons this Sunday against the Giants and moving forward. So would love to get your thoughts on what Penix brings to Atlanta. Maybe too little too late to catch the Buccaneers in the NFC South. So I want you to talk about that, and also Falcons-Giants on Sunday. With the Falcons an 8.5-point favorite, I love Atlanta. I think the Giants are the worst team in the league. Baldy, what do you make of Penix moving forward rest of season and Sunday against the G-Men?
Well, obviously, going back to the draft, I was a Michael Penix Jr. fan. I thought the Falcons would draft him. I know Arthur Blank and that organization well. The only time the Falcons have ever been relevant, Nick, is when Mike Vick was in his prime and Matt Ryan was in his prime. And otherwise, there's zero buzz about the Falcons in Atlanta. It's just a fact. I thought Penix would be the future. And I've been watching, some people sending me clips from him in practice. I can't post them, but I've been watching him in practice, Nick. Like, they can't get the ball down the field. All right, Drake London caught a pump and dump, against the Raiders. They got one last week. That's the one and only.
It was wide open too. I could have made that throw. Maybe not, but it was wide open.
But I've been saying, this is not a slump from Kirk Cousins. This is who Kirk Cousins is, and I've been advocating playing Michael Penix Jr. I know the players on defense see him in practice. They know he can play. Now, is it a gamble a little bit? Yeah, but not anymore. They got to win out, and the Bucs got to lose one. They've got the head-to-head tiebreaker because they beat the Bucs twice. But you might as well get ready for the turn the page with the Atlanta Falcons, whether they can win out or not. The other night you saw Bijan had his best game of the year. They can flat out run the football. Bijan is a great player. That should be every quarterback's best friend. The one weird thing about that offense to me is it is a pure shotgun offense. They run out of the pistol formation. And Kirk Cousins has had great success in Washington and Minnesota under center. And I just think you lose a lot in the run game and play action when you just live in shotgun. And so I don't think the offense fit Kirk, but I'm not worried. He can't.
Do you think that's because he's shot? Can I ask you that? Do you think it's because he's physically shot coming off the Achilles? Do you think that's a reason why? You know better than me. That's not a leading question. I'm curious what you think.
No, listen, it's a very good question, and I don't know the answer because I haven't asked the question. But it's a great.
Because it makes no sense. It makes no sense, right?
I'm pulling out tape from 2023 of him in Minnesota before he got hurt. He carved up San Francisco, and all these big plays down the field were play action under center. So, but I know this: Michael Penix ran a 4.48 40. He's an elite athlete with an elite arm. If they get in trouble in the passing game, he can create, he can extend. You almost have to in this business right now. Kirk couldn't do that. The 8.5 points. The Giants are just dreadful. You tell me who's starting at defense for the Giants right now. They are not good against the run. And I would say Bijan has a chance. I mean, he's going to go over 1,000 yards, but he's on pace for, a top 5 back season this year. But what we thought he was going to be coming out of Texas. So I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to get some big plays out of Penix's arm. They got young kids on the corner that, honestly, I got to go look them up, some of the guys that are playing. So I feel like Atlanta's going to cover this.